White Sox fans, and welcome into the third straight winning edition of the Sox On Tap postgame show. It's Tony Marchese alongside Sean Roberts tonight. We are talking about a 6-4 victory over the Minnesota Twins. First series win of the season. Sean, cheers. Victory beers still taste good. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Tony. I'm doing great. And God damn it, the White Sox have won 3 games in a row. It has happened before. Morale is high. The vibes are up. Enjoy it while we can, right? Because we don't know what's going to happen. But let's effing go, man. Let's have some fun, Tony. Let's have some fun.
We will have some fun. We'll have some fun on the show, and hopefully we can keep the fun vibes going throughout the month of May here. As our guy Andrew Vaughn said, the April showers bring May flowers or whatever, and I'm seeing those so far here with White Sox winners, Sean.
Yeah, it's just amazing. I was talking to my fiance about this. It's amazing the mood that not only myself, but I think all of us, the mood that we have when the White Sox are playing good, respectable baseball and they're winning ball games. I'm happy. I can wake up tomorrow. I'm not pissed off. I'm not aggravated at what I had to watch the night prior. I actually look forward to watching them play and not dreading it, and making sarcastic picks to click, whether it's, the turf or we're just flushing it. No, this is good. I'm ready to have some fun. Vibes are up. We're 7 games back, Tone. 7 games back. Let's effing go.
I know you talk about everybody being happier. I think there's still one person out there that's probably a little disgruntled. I think his name might be Steven. I saw
worried about Steve. Worried about him.
Saw some tweets out there that, he still believes that this is over already. Where's the fun in that, Sean? Where's the fun in that?
And between our group chat, I know I'm ranked at the top as far as negativity goes, but it's, I care a lot and I just want what's best for my club, and I get frustrated. And watching this team over the last month, my thoughts go negative quickly. Steve's in a different tax bracket when it comes to negativity. There's Steve when it comes to sadness and anger, and there's everybody else. I think I'm number 1 when it comes in the everybody else category. Worried about him. I don't know how this 3-game win streak he's going to handle it.
I don't know how he's going to handle it either, Sean, but
it's not good for the narrative, right? Not good for the narrative.
He'll have to grin and bear it, and hopefully the White Sox can prove him wrong. It was a tough April. It was a very tough April, I think, for all of us, especially Steve included, and you yourself. I'm sure it was very hard for you to imagine such a winning streak of 3 games at this point.
Yeah, at some points it felt like it was never going to happen. I mean, hell, at some points felt like we were never going to win 2 in a row, let alone a series against the Minnesota Twins. And here we are, 3rd of May, now winning 3 in a row and getting our first series win. I think that's what I'm most excited about, Tony, is we got a huge uphill climb, right? We got a huge uphill climb. Winning 3 in a row, that's a great start. And I kind of, I'm already seeing it on Twitter, where people are like, we're back, we're hashtag back. Got to be careful with that. Because at the end of the day, because of this victory tonight, we're only 10-21. And so you have to kind of enjoy it like we are, right? We're happy, we're having fun, we're enjoying it. But at the end of the day, we're 10-21, we're 7 games out of first place. So huge uphill climb. I like what I've seen the last 3 days, and we got to enjoy it. Here's what I would like to see real quick going into tomorrow, Tony. Give me a fuck you lineup. Don't punt. Don't punt. Go for it. Go for the sweep on Minnesota because you have to. But we'll get into that later on in the show.
Yes, I think you have to go for everything here in this series. And set the tone, as we like to say.
Oh, there it is.
Set the tone, as we like to say, for the month of May. Sean, let's get into today's ball game here. Dylan Cease, give me your initial thoughts.
Got to be better. Got to be better, Dylan. I think he knows that. He'll be probably the first one to tell you. Something's off with him, right? The slider's not there right now, and from the looks of it on television, pretty cold there tonight. That might have something to do with it, but I'm not seeing an aggressive Dylan Cease. And what I mean by that is he's not attacking hitters. I feel like I don't want to necessarily say there's a lack of confidence, but he's not there's something off, right? Like when you watch him on the mound right now, he doesn't have that, I'm going to strike you out. I'm going to get you here. It almost is like, whew, got away with that one. Whew, got away with that one. I want to see a little bit more aggression out of Dylan, like we saw in that opening day game against Houston, right? Like, look at the differences from his last couple starts to that start. The mentality and the aggression and the aggressiveness that he had attacking the zone. Steve Stone talked about it on the broadcast tonight. Get ahead of in the count, right? Because that's when Dylan becomes the nastiest. Don't nibble. Get 0-1, get 0-2, get 1-2, and then that slider, everything comes off of that, right? So Dylan, you throw a 97, 98 mile per hour fastball, spot that bad boy up, and then attack with the curveball and the slider, because no one's going to touch it coming off that fastball. If you can't throw the fastball for a strike, people are going to sit on your breaking stuff, right? Or vice versa, So he's got to be better. He's the ace of the staff. This is what comes with the territory. 5 innings, 4 runs, that's not going to do it, Dylan. Not out of our number one. Clevenger and Kopech can get away with it. You can't. Sorry.
Well, they got away with it today. I will say
they did. They did.
They got away with it
did.
Today.
And he battled. But moving forward, I need to see him do a little bit more. And I know it's asking a lot, right? Like, it's asking a lot, but I need to see Dylan start getting through 6, right? Getting through 6, maybe give up a run. He's got to get down on the walks too. His walks were up there tonight. And as we know, as White Sox fans with this pitching staff, walks will kill you.
Yep. We've said it on this show plenty of times, Sean. The walks will kill you. Sox were able to jump out, Sean, to an early lead, something that was rather unexpected. A 3-run home run off the bat of Luis Robert Jr. How nice is it to hit a 3-run homer in the first inning?
Setting the tone, right? He's setting the tone. It's nice to see that from Luis. They were talking about it in the post-game show that they've been working on some certain things with the way something with his base. I don't know. Frank Thomas was getting all hitter nerdy on us. But it's good to see he's working on stuff, right? It's good to see that he's trying to make some adjustments. He knows he has to make some adjustments. But yeah, anytime you can get out to a 3-0 start in the first inning, that's a huge positive moving forward throughout the baseball game. But more importantly, Tony, it comes from Luis, who his struggles over the last couple of weeks have been well documented on Twitter and through our group chat and through the post game shows. So good to see him with that home run to start the game today.
Absolutely is. I love fireworks, Sean. I'm a big fan of them.
Fireworks for Tony. Hashtag fireworks for Tony.
Fireworks early. I love it. That's what we need more of. Twins were able to claw right back into this game, Sean, and actually take a lead here. Third inning, they get the 3 runs. We talked a little bit about Dylan Cease already, so we'll sort of glide past that. Sox are able to get right back, though. Bottom of the 4th, Sean. Let's talk about how this got done.
Yeah. So first of all, we got to stop giving up home runs to Nick Gordon. Like, what are we doing here? That stuff's got to stop. But yeah. So the
You're not a fan of the land of 1,000 rakes jacket?
No. Listen, I love a good home run celebration. I think it's one of the funner things that have happened in Major League Baseball. But I don't like to see it from Minnesota, and I don't like to see it from Nick Gordon, who all of a sudden out of nowhere is Mr. Power Hitter. that's neither here nor there, Tony. So yeah, Twins go up 4-3. White Sox though, show a little life, right? Show a little like fight. Get back. I think it was bases loaded, right? Yeah, bases loaded. And TA doing Tim Anderson things. He was my pick to click today. Guy goes 3 for 4. With a walk. Tim Anderson and maybe we'll get to this later, but just what he means to this lineup and what he means to this ball club. But Timmy comes through with the base hit. Now we get into the talking point. What the ever-loving hell are we doing sending Yasmani Grandal on a base hit to right field from second base? At some point, Tony, there has to be a if Yaz is on second base and it's not in the gap, I don't care who's in the outfield. You can't send him.
No.
We're embarrassing ourselves out. He was thrown out. He was halfway down the line.
And the catcher was there. Yeah.
Like,
he didn't even have an attempt to slide there.
No.
It was just sort of accepted defeat.
It was accepted defeat. That's a good way of putting it, Tony. So just at some point, collectively, as an organization, and I know we don't do things the right way most of the time, but can we have a meeting and just say, listen, Yaz on second. If it's not in the gap or down the line, he's not running. Pull up at third, Yaz. We'll live to fight another day.
Yep.
Because what happens, he gets thrown out at home, inning over. Instead of extending the inning, we're out, and at least it's tied. So that's the plus side of it all. But man, I can't take watching him get thrown out at home anymore. It's brutal.
It is. And, I just don't understand why you don't live to fight another day there, because you can still have, bases loaded in that situation.
Yeah,
so
you would have had bases loaded. He's the slowest man I've ever seen. And we've watched a lot of slow people come through the White Sox.
Yes, very slow people. I remember Paul Konerko running bases.
They're not sending Paulie there, I guarantee it.
No.
So why is Yaz getting the green light? I don't know.
It's irrational.
Irrational. A very fun word used with ownership with the Chicago White Sox. Irrational.
We still were able to add runs later on in this game, so it didn't wind up killing the White Sox chances. But in that moment, Sean, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, what are we doing? It was another one of those moments where you could have taken the lead. You could have lived to fight another day. There were so many choices besides sending Yasmani Grandal to the plate. I don't know.
It's a gut punch. It's a gut punch. It's a gut punch. Long story short, someone please tell Yaz, listen, love you. We're not going to send you. So you can jog to third base. Rest those knees, buddy, because you're going to need them. You know?
Yep.
Just moving forward for everyone's health, for everyone's mental health, please. For the love of God.
Well, this is we can move past the negative portion of this game, Sean, because I want to talk about
because it all gets positive from here on out.
It all gets positive from here on out, and that's
Steve, if you're listening right now, you can tune out now. The anger and the aggravation, you can be like, all right, because it's all positive from here on out.
So. Yes, it's all positive from here on out, and we get to wrap this up with the talk of the win, Sean, and that's my favorite part of the whole entire show.
Let's do it, baby.
So we go into the seventh inning. One quick note here after the fourth, before we do get there, Jake Berger did leave the game. He took his at bat in the fourth, and it just, you could see on the replay, looked like he tweaked something. Comes out, Hanser Alberto in. Of course, this comes a day after Steve and I talk about Pedro Grifol over managing. To those in the ballpark, may have looked like he was over managing already after Berger was set down on strikes, but that's going to be a big blow if he's out for any extended period of time.
Yeah, I was watching the postgame show, and Grifol said, we're going to he'll be evaluated tomorrow. And we'll have to see then, but there's some discomfort there. And they talked to Jake Berger. I'm not very confident that this is going to be a good thing. But this is White Sox baseball the last 3-4 years. Couple guys or a guy comes off the IL, one goes on. Nothing. It's a vicious cycle that we're all too familiar with, and I'd be shocked just judging off the reactions of both Grifol and Berger there if there's at least a 10-day IL stint. But we also know how the White Sox operate, right? Like, so Berger might need a 10-day IL stint, but they might just sit him for 4 or 5 games and then decide to put him on the IL, retroactive to whatever day it's going to be, because this is just what the White Sox do in some baffling way. But yeah, that's going to be a huge blow, Tony, because right now we're starting to see a little bit more power from this team. But Jake Berger, #mythird-baseman, has he's carried this offense. He's carried this offense, and that would be a massive blow to this lineup from a power standpoint.
I just don't want to see no Yohan Moncada, no hottest hitter on the White Sox, Jake Berger, in the lineup for a stretch of about a week. It's always this 1 step forward, 2 steps back.
Yep.
So hopefully we can avoid the worst here. I'm sure we're going to get some news rather soon.
It'll be tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it'll likely be tomorrow morning, or I would assume before tomorrow's game takes place.
Yep.
Normally you get those injury updates prior to the team taking the field. So wish Jake the best and hope that it's not something that's going to keep him out of the lineup. They did mention oblique on the broadcast as a possibility as he was leaving with the trainer to the clubhouse. So we'll have to see what happens there, Sean. I hope that he's not missing for an extended period of time, but I sort of echo your feelings here. It doesn't sound exactly great. That's the second negative, and I'm glad that we got that out of the way before we got to the positive stuff. I wanted to get it out of the way.
It's a big piece of news. It's a big piece of news, and probably will be bigger news tomorrow.
Yes, it will. Sean, Sox are able to add another run in the 7th inning, and insurance runs are cool and tough. They're able to go add another in the 8th. Let's talk about how both of these were scored.
Yeah, Eloy Jimenez, nice little piece of hitting there. Eloy, and Stoney mentioned this on the broadcast. Eloy starting to heat up a little bit with the bat, and I don't want to necessarily take credit for the bounce back at Eloy Jimenez, but remember about a week and a half or so ago when I was done with him, Eloy was cooked and then hit a home run, and that bat's starting to heat up here and there. So, I'll selfishly take a little credit for the offensive comeback of Eloy Jimenez. But nice little piece of hitting in all seriousness out of him. It was needed, right? This is what Eloy should be doing. And, it's good to see. Now, the 6th run is the fun part to talk about.
Yes.
And what this man means to this team, this clubhouse. Billy Hamilton. I love me some Billy Hamilton. I loved him in 2021 when he was on the team. I didn't quite understand, and maybe this was just me selfishly wanting him on the roster to start this year, but we all know what he can bring to the table. And what he can bring to the table is exactly what you saw tonight. It's what you saw yesterday. This man is a game changer late in ball games, and that plays to these rules that have been implemented this season. And not having him in here in the first month, and granted, I don't know what's going to happen in April if Billy Hamilton's on the roster, but we're seeing what's happening in May with Billy Hamilton on the roster. And Tony, I absolutely effing love it. I love the vibes. I love the chaos that he can cause on the base paths. It's fun to watch. It's fun baseball. God forbid we have fun baseball to watch on the south side of Chicago.
Hey, it's certainly a change of pace, right? Um, Out of the 11 moves, and some people will, obviously point to Tim Anderson. I think Billy Hamilton is right there up with that Tim Anderson coming back to this team. You already hit on everything in 2021. My wife said this when he didn't resign here was that's a mistake.
Yeah.
That's a mistake not to bring him back. A lot of people laughed at that at the time. Billy Hamilton's older, he's cooked, whatever. He's not here to hit baseballs. He's not here to be an everyday in the starting lineup guy. But the clubhouse vibes that this guy brings, the dugout looks like it's alive and fun again.
It's amazing with
Something that
what one guy can do.
it is. The clubhouse, Chuck Garfien talked about it. The clubhouse is a different atmosphere with him here. Ozzie Guillen said it on Foul Territory, I believe, that this team doesn't really have a leader. Billy Hamilton's one of those guys that can act like a leader amongst these boys. He's a veteran in every sense. And with the destruction on the base paths is just a boot. Have you seen many guys that can score from second base on a ground ball to the shortstop?
No, but this is what, and it's not even so much the speed, right? Because the speed is there, and that's what makes him really effective. But it's the instinct, right? It's the mentality that he has on the base paths. The like, I'm gonna make you try and get me out. Forcing the issue is something that the White Sox don't have, right? So they force the issue with the wrong people. Yasmani Grandal getting sent on a play that he shouldn't have been sent. That's forcing the issue in the wrong way. Billy Hamilton doesn't need a coach to have him force the issue. He does it himself. The chaos and just him being on second base, if you go back in that inning, Billy Hamilton was in that pitcher's head, and I excuse me, I don't know I forget who was on the mound for the Twins, but Billy Hamilton was in his head. His changeup was missing. He lost focus of Elvis there, and you're right, Tony. In 2023, who in their right mind is scoring from second base? And it was a mentality. It was an instinct. He knew that it was going to be a backhand. It was going to be some sort of crazy throw, right? And he and Billy's head knows, once that ball's released, I'm gone. I'm going home. Try and throw me out, mother effer. And his mentality, man, I love it so much. It reflects in the team. You talked about the fun in the dugout. It's been missing for this entire month. And granted, winning helps that, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But having those good vibe guys, and we talked about this last year and what they were missing, right? They were missing a guy like Billy Hamilton. They were missing a guy like Brian Goodwin. Those guys that have that fun mentality in the dugout. It goes such a long way. And frankly, I don't care if Billy Hamilton gets an at bat all season. I give two shits about that. Put him as a defensive replacement in the eighth or ninth inning, and let the man run. Because if that's what gets us to win this division and turn this whole thing around, I'm all for it. I saw people mocking that we were bringing up Billy Hamilton yesterday because he was hitting 188 in Charlotte. How do we feel about it now? Because his batting average doesn't matter. What Billy Hamilton does in the batter's box does not matter. What matters is him coming to pinch run in games where we need another run, and he can do it without a ball being even put in goddamn play. So if Billy Hamilton gets sent down to Charlotte at all for the rest of the season, we've made a massive.
I don't think you can
mistake.
send him back down.
You cannot.
Contractually, I don't even know if they can do it. I believe there was a provision in his contract that he had to come up by a certain time. It's starting to feel more like they wanted to give Oscar Colas that shot, and he did not prove himself. So it just seems very contractual, but it works now in the Sox benefit because they have this weapon off the bench in late innings. I know people are going to be upset seeing Gavin Sheets play more in right. I'm going to be upset seeing Eloy Jimenez play more right field. But as of right now, I think Billy Hamilton gives this team a chance to fucking win more baseball games just by being that weapon. You saw the destruction and just the way that he changed the game, for lack of a better term here, on the base paths tonight.
It's fun to watch. It's fun to watch. I'm glad he's back up. He makes a difference. He makes a difference. Clubhouse, in the dugout during the game, on the field, in late in the game, in tough situations. I fucking love Billy Hamilton. I mean,
that's your Billy Hamilton appreciation segment right there, Sean.
I fucking love Billy Hamilton. I love him. I love him.
Sox lock it down after that. Kenyon Middleton comes in, gets the job done. He looks great. But Sean,
shout out to the bullpen tonight, man.
Overall,
what Santos did, in that inning, he get bases loaded, nobody out. I said in the group chat, I said ball game, because we've seen this story before, right? We've seen this story before. He'll walk in a run, then you get the gap shot. Next thing you know, the Sox are down, 9-4, and we're sitting here going, Jesus Christ, what's going on with this team? He was able to battle, man. Tim Anderson made a nice play. He made a nice play. Santos right back to him. Really impressive stuff there. Gets the strikeout, bared down, and that's what we want to see out of guys like that. Grifol talked about, the what they saw in him. And he was throwing 60% sliders when he was in the Giants organization. Comes here and we'll be the first ones to criticize that, the scouting department and their development. We've been very critical of that. But if they found something here with Santos, and I think they have, because they've had him start throwing a slider, and it's been a build-up process, just like Pedro Grifol said in the post-game press conference. I mean, this guy can be a weapon. He's throwing 100-mile-per-hour sinkers.
Mm-hmm.
You can spot those sinkers and throw that slider. You're going to be nasty, my man. And he's getting, and the confidence is going to start growing. Graveman came in, did his thing. Good to see him. I think they're still grooming him for that 8th inning role, for when Liam gets back here, which God bless is going to be soon. And shout out Liam Hendricks for everything. Just unbelievable stuff. Unbelievable stuff. And Middleton. I mean, you're between Santos and Middleton. Lopez hasn't been that stellar throughout the year, but I think if you can put Ray Lowe back in that 6th, 7th inning role, when Liam gets back here, I think that's where he's going to be able to flourish. Maybe not a spot start anymore because his arm strength's not there. But I think he might be seeing some unlikely arms happening here with the White Sox. Some positives, right? And potential scouting development wins with Santos and Middleton.
Let's not count our,
Okay. I that's why I threw the question in there when I said it. But we're seeing some positives. We're seeing some pluses, right?
Let's let it ride. Let it ride.
That's
where I'm at. That's
Tony. Morale's high.
Yes. Let's
take my own advice. We're 10-21, 7 games out of first.
Yes, and let's talk about tomorrow's ball game, because we've got Lucas Giolito on the mound against Lopez. It's going to be an interesting pitching matchup. Giolito 1-2, 4.15 ERA, 34 strikeouts on the year. Lopez 2-2. One of those wins, I believe, came against the Chicago White Sox. 46 strikeouts. He looked good against us last time we faced him.
And you got to remember,
getting some day game Lucas tomorrow.
Dangerous. This could get ugly quick, or it could be a decent outing for Lucas. You got to remember Lopez. We had him on the ropes in that first inning when we played him up in Minnesota, and we let him off the hook. But that was the entire story of April, right? We let teams off the hook. Different vibe right now. So if you can attack him early, don't let him get into a rhythm, don't let him get into a groove. Maybe get a nice little 3-run home run in the first from Luis Robert Jr. Would be a good way to set the tone come tomorrow. Maybe a little Andrew Vaughn bomb. That'd be nice. Benintendi maybe getting his first one.
You got which one of those guys is your pick to click?
I'm gonna go Benny. I love me some Benny. I love me some Benny, and he's becoming a quiet favorite of mine. Which is at least good because he's the highest paid player in White Sox history. So congrats to Andrew Benintendi, 5 years, $75 million.
He needs that type of support, Sean.
Yeah, cheers to Benny, right? But no, attack Lopez early. Giolito, you got to come out. You always know in the first couple innings how Lucas is going to be. So if Lucas can come out, control that changeup, spot his fastball, he's going to be fine. Get through 6 and see what happens and turn this thing over. But, like I said to start this show, Tony, what I want to see tomorrow, man, go after it, Grifol. Load that lineup up. F giving guys off days. You can't afford it. You play Minnesota. Anyone in this division, you got to go for the jugular. So let's show up tomorrow and be ready to kick someone's ass.
I'm going to stick with Mr. Eloy Jimenez. Believe I had him tonight. I'm going to stick with Eloy.
Riding the wave.
Just riding it. It's been paying dividends. He's been getting the job done. So I'm going to go Eloy Jimenez. Sean, I agree 100%. You're going to have to make up some ground here. Put another one in the loss column for Minnesota. It's only going to help. We're in double-digit wins now.
That's nice.
We need another 10 of them. Let's do it against the division. You're going to have to beat your divisional opponents in order to make up any sort of ground here. Any final thoughts?
No, this is fun, man. And this is a lot more enjoyable to do. Now, granted, this is my second post-game show of the year, but I'm 2-0. But this is a lot more enjoyable to do winning. And instead of sitting here trying to figure out how did the White Sox lose this one? Because most of the time they give it away instead of it getting taken from them. Enjoy the fun baseball. We're seeing good baseball, at least the last 3 games. It's been aggravating. It's been frustrating. Hopefully something has turned and we can enjoy this ride. But a lot of baseball to be played. Not saying that this thing's fully turned around, not even close, but give it a run, right? Give the organization and this fan base, give it a ride, and see where it takes you. So
it's all we can do.
It's all we can do. I'm drinking whiskey, baby. We're toasting the wins.
Hey, cheers to wins. We'll be back tomorrow. Another post-game show at the conclusion of tomorrow's ball game. I believe Johnny and Besnick will be on the air, taking care of post-game duties tomorrow. Sean, always a pleasure.
Always, my man.
It's even more of a pleasure when we're talking about wins. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Close it down how we always do. White Sox forever.
White Sox forever.